Hey, what's going on? You're now tuned in to the PVD Horror Podcast. I'm Brandon. I'm joined by my co-host Dave, and today we're going to talk about my experience, the recap on San Diego Comic-Con 2026. It was just like a wild ride. It's always been a great time going down to San Diego, connecting with everyone, like just what your experience is going to other events and stuff, and you just see everybody from all over, get that time to kind of like check in. It was cool, man. So one year we got to go together.
I know, I know. San Diego kind of intimidates me a little bit. It looks so like just packed with events and people. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely so crazy because the schedule, like they have everything going on at once. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like you got to sit there and have the schedule and be like, okay, I'm going here, 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 and have it all mapped out. So, doing press is definitely on a different level because you got to like fit in the interviews and everything like that. So it's like to fit in the time to go to the attractions and everything, it can be hard.
yeah.
And having the time to, get everything going.
It was kind of a little bit of a throwback to last year because last year one of the big things at San Diego
Mm.
Comic-Con was the Clown in a Cornfield, right? They had the event for
Yeah,
that.
they had that going on.
And
Yep.
then just the other day, they did announce that they'll be making a Clown in the Cornfield too. So I was like, oh, the
Yeah,
timing on that
sequel.
is pretty cool. Because
Yeah.
like at this time last year, we were enjoying that. So
Yeah, and it's so crazy too because I was going because there's so many on-street attractions, for local people that are not going into the cons to take advantage of. And they had so many, and that's what Clown in the Cornfield was also. And so I was kind of like looking up at the steps, and they didn't have anything in that area.
uh
And it's such a cool space, and I'm so surprised that like none of the studios had taken over that, that
sure.
space for this year. So it was kind of like sad to see, but maybe next year when I'm back down there, I can look up the steps and they see have Clown in the Cornfield
See
too.
see Friendo there again. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah, that definitely was one that stuck out, and Shutter should have definitely had taken over, but I don't think it wasn't as horror packed this year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And
But it
and
was,
just even going into it, we kind of knew that. Like
hmm
I know we were talking a little bit before you went, just that it didn't feel super horror heavy this year as far as the announcements and planning
yeah,
of it. Like last year, I remember there was a ton of stuff that you would like trying to navigate. Like I don't know how I'm going to get all this in my schedule.
yeah, yeah, it was so crazy. But at least like this year, there was so many other things going on. But it starts on Thursday, and so I ended up getting in on a Friday, and
Mhm.
so it was just like right when I got off the plane. The airport's about like a 10-minute ride right over to the
Yeah.
convention center. So it wasn't bad. So I had my suitcases. I'm like, because I didn't check into the Airbnb or anything yet. I just like, all right, got my suitcases. I got to go check into my first thing. The first thing for the event for the day was to go over to the promotion at Kansas City Barbecue for the Ice Cream Man movie.
Oh, that was
You
the
know,
first thing you did off the
that was the
plane.
first thing
Yeah.
first thing right off the plane. Um, I was invited by, our PR team and the horror section studios to promote, Ice Cream Man. And it was a cool setup. They had a lot of stuff. Eli was there. There's a lot of other cool creators I was able to, meet. And I think that's the thing too, you know what I mean? Um, just the experience in meeting so many other people. Um, what was it? I met the Ghoul Daddies.
Yeah.
So connected with those guys. So we all had like lunch and stuff. So everything was all taken care of. They had gotten us lunch, um, drinks and everything, and kind of just had it like that time to kind of like talk with Eli and go over and look up at the setup that they had, some of the practical effects stuff that they had for the film.
Yeah.
And it was a cool setup, and so shout out to Kansas City Barbecue. That was also a shooting location in the first Top Gun movie.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so they
Cool.
promote that. They have that on there in there. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Everybody
it was
everybody loves a good barbecue spot, especially if it's got some tie-in to a movie. So
yeah,
like like Texas Chainsaw with the Bastrop one. So
yeah.
we'll
And
know
I
that.
noticed another creator too, but I just couldn't talk to her because she was so busy doing something else. Was it the Sassy Sledgehammer?
Oh yeah, you saw her there. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was working with her boyfriend. Um, they were doing, I think they were working as what was it? The camera crew to kind of
Okay.
get all the stuff done. So they were like busy inside and in the background, like editing and getting everything all set. But I had noticed that she was there. Um, yeah, a lot of the creators too. So some of the guys that do like the big films, trailer reactions and stuff. So that's one of the main things, about San Diego Comic-Con. It brings everybody together.
Yeah.
And no matter what your platform is, it can be you can have all these numbers or whatever, but you're in this group with everyone and you can realize like we're all like down to earth people and just have a good time,
Yeah.
just sit there and talk. So it's all about networking and connecting. So it
Yeah.
was cool.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, so and that's the other thing too, is like everybody kind of does their own thing. Like some people are like short form, there's some long
Yep.
form, there's people who just do write-ups.
Yeah.
So being able to connect with people who do different forms of it too is kind of cool, because like everybody, I mean, it's a hustle,
Yeah.
regardless of what form you're doing, it's a hustle. So it's
And
cool
that's
to
it.
like connect with them on that.
Yeah, and that's the thing because we're from all over, you know what I mean? And so the Ghoul Daddies, they're from the West Coast, they're from California, so they're all in that mix of everything down there. We were kind of like talking like what us being from Rhode Island, and I tell them like we don't really have any big networks. Like you would think Boston would be like a bigger network of things, and they don't take advantage of Boston as much,
Yeah.
as much as they do like California. Like New York is like one of the main pieces too. So it's cool when you run into other content creators that we know from New York and everything like that because they're kind of closer to us and we see them on that level all the time. But it's cool to see everybody from the West Coast here and there.
And also shout out to San Diego Comic Con for keeping their space so open for content creators and
Yeah.
media and press. I know a
Hmm.
lot of different, you know, conventions and things like that are having to like kind of limit or restrict on that. And San
Yep.
Diego's still at this point, kind of keeping doors open to keep promotion going. Because ultimately, that's what so much of this is about. It's about promoting these
Yeah.
upcoming projects, right?
Hmm.
And getting people seen. So I'm glad they're still welcoming that, so they can these the creators can get that um that time.
Yeah. And shout out to like all the PR teams too, maybe because with San Diego and the PR teams, they roll out the red carpet. They treat press like VIP. You know what I mean? Like we're invited to all these big things and we're able to take advantage of everything. Um, so yeah, like I said, the first thing I did was the Kansas City barbecue for Ice Cream Man. Was able to talk to Eli a little bit about Ice Cream Man. Um, and kind of like the plans of horror section studios and what's coming for that.
Okay.
And then right after that, I had noticed because last year it was the same thing. I got off the airplane,
Yeah,
went right to the
instantly.
convention center,
Yeah.
and I had my suitcases, and I was just like, "Hey, what can I do with my suitcases?" And they told me, "Hey, you can check them in over at Bag Check." So I already had that plan set. As soon as I left Kansas City Barbecue, I went over to the convention center, checked my suitcases in, and I'm like, all right, on to the next program scheduled, which was my interview with director Zachary Wiggin for the new film that's going to be released in September, Victorian Psycho. Um, they sent us over the screener for that. Did you have a chance to watch that?
I didn't realize that was a 24-hour
Yeah,
screener.
it's 24
I
hours.
went 2 days later and was like, no, I was so upset.
Yeah.
I was so upset. Did you catch it within the 24 hours?
Yeah, I watched it twice. So
Oof,
I had watched it because I didn't finish it, and then so I end up finishing it on the plane to San
dude.
Diego, and I'm like, all right, here we go. We're gonna
That
get
was
this all locked in.
I was so bummed.
Yeah. That's a great film. So for everybody, that's anticipating that film, definitely look into that because Zachary is definitely one of the bold voices that's going to be taking over in horror for contemporary horror. And so he was also in some other panels and everything coming up, but I had the opportunity to sit down with him one on one, and I had told you about how they did most of the interviews for the junkets and stuff last time. This time it was pretty cool because it was just him and then it was like it was more comfortable because I was the only creator, so it was one on one. You know what I mean? So I was
Nice.
in there with him.
Yep.
Like I said before, when you have the press run, you're going through, you can only kind of get in like a couple questions in with a
Yeah.
person, and you have so many camera crews and everybody else waiting in line to kind of like
Yep.
get in there. So this was a cool one-on-one experience, you know what I mean? And so I was able to kind of, feel him out, get everything going, and pick his brain a little bit about the film. So it was a good interview. So
Getting to meet him, did that make you appreciate the film even more, or did like just right off the bat was this film just one you connected with? You think?
yeah, I definitely connected with it. And he's a cool person too. So it was like, what I mean, like everything. Just we talked for a little bit before we recorded. Um, but yeah, the film's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. For a lot of people that are fans of, that type of horror, that kind of like it was at the time depicted films and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
kind of just
yeah.
like
Yep. A
what was it?
timepiece, like The Ugly Stepsister or
The
something like
Ugly
that.
Stepsister and
Yeah.
everything like that. And so it's actually like based off of a book with the same title.
Oh,
I've
okay.
never
Yeah, I
read
did
the
know that. Yeah, I heard
yeah.
that, and I haven't read the book yet.
So, and it's cool too because like I think all the actors and everybody did a good job in the film, and the main character, um, I forgot her name from
I know. I was trying to think of it. It's like Madeline or
yeah,
something like that.
Madeline, I can't say the last
Yeah.
name, but from if It Follows, she was the main
Yeah.
character in that and a few other projects. So, she was a great addition to it, and also on that project too there's two children, and so we kind of like touched on like how it was working with the kids with the time restraints and everything like that, because like we talked about this time and time again, but I feel as though that all the child actors coming in now are just kind of like taking off, you know what I mean, and
Yes.
on these projects, and it's so crazy. So I can only imagine what they're going to be like by the time they're in their
Traumatized.
20s. It's so
Very
traumatized.
traumatized.
Yeah.
Just correction. Maka Monroe. I think that's how you say her first name. Is
Okay.
the lead actress. Yeah. So it follows, but yeah, long legs as well.
Long legs. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Long legs. So,
Yes. And if you guys haven't watched it yet, there is Brandon's interview with Zachary out on our YouTube right now.
hmm
So make sure you check that out. And he does actually talk a little bit about, like you said, kind of adapting the book, right? In that
yeah.
interview, I think he had made mention to that and kind of what he was wanting to put on screen for it.
Yeah. And so right after that, um, there was another like a panel. It was called Bold Voices of Contemporary Horror, the 10th anniversary edition. Um, he was also involved in that piece also, and was able to kind of like talk about everything that's going on in horror, how he adapted to it. You had creators from Obsessions, Backrooms, and Hokum, and all these other projects. You know what I mean? Just so they touched on like Overlook Film Festival directors and stuff, and Camp Miasa, that
Yeah.
film that's going to be dropping
Yep.
too. So it was pretty cool, you know what I mean? So they were able to kind of like take advantage of that, for everybody to kind of step in and talk about what's coming in horror over the years. You know what I mean? And I think that's the main piece for us. We were always like, okay, what's next? You know what I
Yep.
mean? And like the same interview that we did with the Addams Family, like, trying to predict what's gonna be next. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard, but I think that horror is in a good hands. So
Dan Stevens was part of that panel too,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I
Yep.
mean that was cool because he's been in some great projects over the last few years.
hmm
Um, so that was definitely a good panel. It reminds me of the was it the Neon one from
Yeah,
last
the neon
year?
one.
Because
Yep.
Neon had so many projects lined up last year around this time,
Yeah.
and yeah, so this was kind of like that equivalent, I guess, like kind of
hmm
highlighting what's coming up.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, there was so much more for horror last year than it was this year. But there was a lot of cool things that stood out. Was it? I know Svengoolie was back with his crew. They were doing the interviews and stuff. But the times were just kind of like weird and everything again. They kind of like clashed with other stuff that I had going on. And same thing with the bold voices of contemporary horror. A lot of the people that were in other films like Obsession and stuff, they were doing interviews on Thursday. So I wasn't able to lock in interviews with them because I wasn't going to be down there at that time.
Yeah,
Um, so like I said, it's sometimes it's Thursdays can definitely be a hit or miss because when you're looking at everything else, you're like, okay, what am I gonna lock in for? Usually it's like Thursday and Friday. Thursday, no, Friday and Saturday are like the main pieces. And so Sunday is usually when I leave because it's like usually they don't touch on a lot of things.
sure.
I mean, I think one of the things I that was kind of cool that kind of stood out was like the return of Air Bud. He was there Sunday with Cineverse. So Cineverse and Air Bud have a deal, you know what I mean? So that's gonna be coming
Crazy.
out.
Cineverse, man.
Cineverse has been taking over for horror, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But um
Brandon, just to go back, was the panel that Zachary was a part of, was that also the one where Fangoria was there with Devin
uh
Sawa, or was that a different one
no, it was a different one, but Zachary was a special guest for the
for that
Fangoria
one?
one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. He was in both.
he was in both of them.
Okay.
So they brought him on to the Fangoria one. I think that was another thing that had happened because Fangoria had sent over the PR list for us a while back, and so I had known that Zachary was going to be the special guest because they had a few things that they were going because they wanted us to send all that information out after, but not the Zachary part.
Yeah.
But I know Devin Sawa was the news at first when they wanted us to like post that out. So
Yeah. And they did announce that he will be the host of the
host,
Fangoria Awards this year, which is cool.
yeah. So that's pretty cool, you know what I mean? So shout out to Fangoria, you know what I mean, for locking in and also getting a panel.
Yeah.
And shout out to everybody that, the staff at Fangoria because, it was cool that they were there to, you know, be host as panels. I mean, the panel hosts. So
Yeah,
I
they're
think that
everywhere. That group, that Fangoria group is literally everywhere. So
hmm
good for them for getting around so much, staying busy, staying on top of all this stuff.
yeah.
Appreciate the grind and the hustle.
Yeah, so I can't wait to actually watch the Chainsaw Awards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's been so crazy and seeing and watching being a part of it and watching it all grow is pretty cool. It's something special. And like I said again, hopefully one day we'll get a live
Yeah.
audience
I think it's gonna
award
happen.
show.
It's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah,
You gotta believe it.
yeah. So yeah, like I said, Svengoolie and his crew was there again to shout out Me TV. Um This time I think he was in full costume. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Last
yeah, I
year
did see that.
he didn't
Yep.
he didn't have the costume on last year. Um and they had something special. They had a comic book art panel for David Lynch to kind of, pay homage to everything he has done. So I think that was cool.
Hmm.
Troma also had a panel celebrating independence for, their company over the years.
Yeah.
That was at like a weird time at night. So it's like sometimes like I said, the panels are just like kind of like they're just everything's going on at once. So I think that was going on around the time like I was in like Hall H
Okay.
and it was just like so weird. But before I get back into the other panels, I'm gonna get into some of the outdoor attractions. They had the Nickelodeon was there this year. They had a cool attraction outside where fans could, go and get slimed and everything. So it was just crazy. But once again, like the press night, I had missed that because that was also on Thursday. So able to go by and check it out and look at it, but didn't get the full experience because it like for they did certain nights they did it for press was Thursday, so I had missed that. But yeah, they made everybody feel like they were a kid again. You know what I mean? Just, it was cool just watching people getting slimed.
Yeah.
Some of our other friends are content creators with their content. Um, it was cool. And so they had something inside too, where like they had everybody kind of like pumping up stuff and then earning prizes and stuff. But yeah, shout out to Nickelodeon. And then there was another one that kind of stood out to me because this is one of the films that I can't wait to see in September, but it's going to be the Resident Evil film. You know what I mean? So again, another surprise on Thursday that Zachary Kreger was there Thursday.
Oh, snap. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
he was there Thursday, so I missed that. Um, but I was able to stop by at the Resident Evil attraction and experience that. That was pretty cool. You know what I mean? The way they just transform these street of attractions is so cool, and you can earn so many prizes. They had like a setup where you just kind of where you take your phone and like scan QR codes and stuff, and then you can earn prizes. I think that one was just like all about swag bags and everything you can get. I didn't do all of them. I scanned one and I got a free drink and I'm like, I'll take that.
Yeah,
And I went and
yeah,
cashed that out.
yeah.
Got some footage, got some pictures and stuff of how, Raccoon City, and they had some cool DJs playing and stuff. Um, so yeah, that was some of the cool stuff, you know what I mean? Like
I just
the
love that they were
attraction.
like transforming the like San Diego into all these different places and taking this experience and like upping it to like immersive experience. I just love that.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like I wish they would do that with New York because it's like they could take advantage of that, but I understand. But I think San Diego is a little bit more in tuned with like they'll take that on.
Yeah.
But it was funny today too. I also had noticed that Marvel was sued for $160,000 for that sign. So one of the main signs downtown, the gas lamp sign, Marvel had thrown up the Avengers Doomsday thing. I have a few pictures, like if you go back and look
Yeah.
online, um, with a few people around there and stuff like that. But Marvel was told not to do it, and
Huh.
they did it anyway.
Yeah.
And so it was going to be like a risk safety hazard and everything like
Yep.
that. But they were fined $160,000 for
Wow.
that. And so it was funny. Somebody put in the comments, see, everything illegal is not illegal if you have the money to pay for
Right. Right.
it. So,
Exactly. You could
so
just do it
yeah.
and worry about it later.
But it's so crazy though. It's like, I think that I don't know why, but I think that's like the main space, you know what I mean, from downtown right there. Then I thought it was cool. It looked cool. And I
Hmm.
had noticed too, like I had seen someone post that when they had taken the Avengers A down, they gave it to somebody that was actually just walking on the street saying, "Hey, I want this." And they was just
Oh,
like, "Yeah,
nice.
take it." So I can only imagine how much that person's selling that Avengers
Yeah.
A for that, that's some good money right
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely. That's
But
awesome.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely a cool setup that they have. You know what I mean? And this year, I would say that I spent more time on the outside in those attractions and stuff. Like, because when you do the interviews, those are usually done off campus, like in the hotels and
Hmm.
stuff like that. There was some other attractions that was going on. American Horror Story was out there. They had so many different locations scattered around downtown where you can kind of check in and kind of get all these different ice cream flavors.
Hmm.
Um, I was just like, I had one of the ice creams, but then I was just like, I'm not gonna sit there and hunt down like,
Yeah.
because I
Different
guess
ice
it's like,
creams.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
because you go to each location is like different flavors.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get the point, but it was cool. They actually had the big sign this year on the Hilton Hotel. So that big American Horror Story. Last year was Alien Earth. They had their
Yep.
promotion on there.
Yep. I remember that.
But yeah, there was and that's the thing, like downtown, they just have just so much shit going on. So many promotions slabbed around town. I forgot what is that show that's on FX? This is the Vampire LaSalle or something like that.
Yeah.
Have you?
Vampire Lestat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't checked that out
I
at
haven't
all,
checked it
but
out either yet because that's the same thing. It's so hard for us to connect to like friggin' horror
I
shows.
know it's got a big following. I see
Yep,
people wearing like the Lestat t-shirts and stuff like that.
yep,
I just haven't been able to give it a go.
yeah. So that was something that stuck out. Um, a lot of the DC comic lanterns had their own attraction. Super Troopers actually had an attraction down there. Super Troopers 3.
Yeah. That just came out, I think, right?
Yeah, I had gone to see that the other day. It isn't bad. It was better
Yeah.
than the second film though.
Oh yeah, that's probably not
Yeah, I don't think
hard.
anything's gonna be better than the
Yeah,
first one though.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and I
I
was
s
invited to a few parties, you know what I
Yep.
mean? So the first one was the IGN VIP party. That was a cool time. Shout out to Clip, you know what I mean? So we were sitting there chopping it up, hanging out there. They, you know what I mean? Like I said, when you go to these things, they treat you like VIP, open bar, you know what I mean? You got all this other
Nice.
shit going on, just having a good time, different creators, like, you know what I mean? And it just makes you feel like good because it's like you see so many different creators around. What's his name? Jason the Stallion, the dude that's always saying, "Come here," and then he has his glasses and throws them and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
He's in there. You know, goofy straw hat guy, you know what I mean, the film critic and shit like that. Like everybody's in there. And then so you're just rubbing shoulders with these guys. And we was at the bar and the two IGN guys I had taken a picture with, Matt and Chris. It was so funny. I go up to him, I was like, dude, like I respect you guys, been checking out your content for years. You know what I mean? He goes, "Oh man, we appreciate that because you know everybody's always saying we give bad reviews." I'm like, I get it. I get it. That's what it comes down to. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He goes, "Yeah, people always shitting on us." I'm like, I told him, I said, "Hey, you're not the main thing is at the end of the day, if people want talking shit about you, you're not doing anything. So if they're talking shit about you, you're doing something." And they
Yeah.
go, "Oh man, we're gonna take that. We're gonna take that to the grave." But we were able to talk about like some of our favorite horror films and film and things that they're looking forward to, Marvel stuff and video games and stuff like that. So I think that's the main piece of this. Like I said, it's all connection, you know what I mean? And then being on that same level and having that opportunity to network with everyone, you know, I think at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, you know.
Yeah. Would you say to a person from here that maybe
Yeah.
has tried New York Comic Con as a visitor, would
hmm
you recommend them going to San Diego Comic Con?
Hands down, I think San Diego's the
Yeah.
best one. And just because, like we said, it's just like it's such of a bigger, different experience. Like if
Yeah.
even if you're not going into the con, you can be out on the streets and have a good time. There's so much shit going on. Downtown San Diego, like the Padres stadiums right there, they usually have a lot of shit going on over there. What was it? Green Day actually took advantage of setting up an ice cream truck over there
Yeah.
and tossing shit out and promoting something that they have going on. I think it's a new TV show or something or a movie. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like whenever you turn around, it doesn't matter. Like something can be going down, you
Wait.
know.
What was up with San Diego Comic Con having so many different ice cream related things?
I don't know. I think it's just
It's just a thing
it's the
that's going
summer.
on.
It's the
Yeah.
summer. You know
A
what I mean?
lot of ice cream
The
references.
weather's good. You know what I mean? 75 every day and sunny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good ice cream weather for sure.
Yeah. I love San Diego. You know, I mean, this is my third time going down to
Mhm.
San Diego. It's always a good time, you know what I mean? So, um,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely beautiful.
have you been before?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, downtown San Diego, you have all the local businesses turning up. You got everybody in the streets just having a good time. It just it's just like a whole nother level. It's kind of like what we would watch on TV, like MTV Spring Break, you know what I mean, in Cancun.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's just a fun time, you know what I mean, for everybody to kind of experience something. So if you have never gone to San Diego Comic-Con, I would say put that on your bucket list, you know what I mean, and check it out.
Awesome. All right. And and yeah, so that's it till next San Diego
Yeah.
2027.
Yep.
So we'll see what that brings. But yeah, thanks for giving us your recap, Brandon. That was good to hear how it all went down. I am hoping next year that maybe there'll be a
hmm
little bit more horror related news. But I also think horror this year came early
It did.
versus last year we were waiting for things. This
Yep.
year we got a ton first half of the year. So I think that was a big difference. So we'll see what next year brings. But yeah, till next year. hopefully there'll be some good announcements for us to look forward to.
Definitely.
All right. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you later with another episode. But if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time. Everybody have a good night.
Take it easy.